So it's the third week of the month, and that means we get a MattyCollector.com delivery. And this time it's just the DC Signature Collection or the Club Infinite Earths subscription figure. And for the month of September, it is Black Mask. And so we get the mailer box here. Open the mailer box up, and we get the standard packaging nowadays. A little bit of damage on this one for some reason. You get some nice cover art on the side, and in the back you get the larger portion of the art and the bio. We'll move on to the figure. So here's Black Mask out of the package. And a little bit disappointed in the fact that he's just a reuse of the Movie Master / DC Universe suit Buck that we've seen lots and lots and lots of times. Now, granted, there's not much else that they could have done with him, but you know, since he is just basically a guy in a business suit with a mask on, so his face sculpt here is pretty cool. I got this really neat skull mask on. Really do like the sculpting of it, with the nostrils and the very prominent teeth. You do get a nice design on his tie instead of a solid colored tie, which we usually get in the suit Buck, but it's kind of neat. The jacket is glued together, so a little bit of a, you know, little bit of letdown that they could have just had this open, I think, and it would have been fine. But pretty standard, the same sort of the same sculpt that we've seen in the other figures that use this Buck, the suited body Buck. Very shiny shoes. They got a nice shine to them, and that does sort of distinguish them from the rest of the suit. Also, he does have gloves on. You can tell because he's got those three little things on the back of his hand. The paint job is okay. You know, pretty standard gray black suit. It's very nice on the head, along with the sculpt. Very good. The white shirt here is a little bit gray. Again, with these DC figures, the whites tend to be on the grayer side for some reason. He really shines with the accessories. You get this really weird double-bladed weapon, which he can hold in both hands. It's a little tighter in the right hand than the left hand, but it does still sit in there. He's got a dagger and cowl, Batman cowl, that are meant to represent the cover of, I think it's Batman number 636. He's got the cowl of Batman with the knife through it on a door or wall or something. So you can have him kind of holding the mask and the knife here in sort of a that cover. You know, he's about to stab the mask through. So that's kind of neat. Callback. So I thought Black Mask was a pretty recent character within the last 10 or 15, even 20 years. Just goes to show you how old I am. Actually, he's a little bit older than that. He first makes his appearance in Batman number 386 in 1985. And that's pre-Crisis. So there's a pre-Crisis and post-Crisis version of Black Mask, which I didn't think there would be. But of course, I was not quite a DC fan at that time, so I really had very little idea of what was going on in the comics at that point. But in that first story, you learn that he's an heir to the family business named Janus Cosmetics, and that he grew up with this social status-obsessed parents. And they kind of really... he's a contemporary of Bruce Wayne, so they were always trying to force him to become friends with Bruce Wayne, and it never really took. His parents weren't all that really nice people, I would say. They were more, like I said, obsessed with the social status and what people thought of them than what they should have been focused on. Like, I believe he was dropped as an infant, but they covered it up for fear of the scandal that it might cause, just of people thinking that, you know, he might not be all right in the head or what. So he grows up, and out of high school, he gets a nice cushy job with the family business, and he falls in love with a working class secretary, which of course does not meet with the approval of his parents. And as you can tell, he's not too happy about this, but instead of being rational, he goes off the deep end, burns down their family mansion, killing his parents. And of course, there's no proof that he did it, so he inherits his parents' company and proceeds to run it into the ground through bad business deals and rushing this product to market before it's tested, and it actually winds up actually scoring some of the consumers. And while this scandal breaks, his true love, breaks up with him, loses the company, goes into bankruptcy, and he's walking around at night during the storm, and goes to the graveyard and the family crypt, where a lightning bolt strikes the crypt and kind of injures him, but not too badly, but shatters the casket of his father. And it's there that he's inspired to create his mask and begin a life of a criminal mastermind. So he creates this false face society. That's the name of his gang. And because they all wear distinctive masks, and he begins this vendetta against those he thinks have wronged him. And foremost, or most notably to us, the readers, among those people, is Bruce Wayne. So eventually he does get to Bruce Wayne, but of course, Bruce Wayne, being Batman, figures out who he is and lays a trap for him. And actually, I believe it's one of Jason Todd's first cases as Robin that he takes part in. So anyway, he's pursued by Batman and Robin, and in the climactic fight with Batman, he is caught in a fire, and the fire burns the mask to his face. It's there that he's jailed. There's a breakout, I think, by Ra's al Ghul, but he doesn't take part in that. He goes off and starts to rebuild the False Face Society, and begins his vendetta against Wayne Enterprises and Bruce Wayne again. He's pretty much silent, really, until, just maybe being a fixture of the gangs in Gotham, up until No Man's Land, where he becomes basically a cult leader, whose trademark is scarring their gang members, like his face is scarred. And he comes to believe that, the masks, because of No Man's Land, all the masks that people wear have been removed, so there's only the scarring. There's only the scarring should reflect that the person they are, and that society is, no more. So he starts building a powerful base, and he's really killing anyone that doesn't get with him, and he's destroying the buildings that are still standing, and he's finally stopped by the Huntress and Batman. The Huntress posing as Batgirl at this time, I think. But he does escape before Gotham is brought back into with the rest of the country. He finds out that Catwoman has been stealing from him, and so he finds an associate of her and kidnaps and tortures her to get answers. And she does expose the Selina Kyle identity to him, and that's when Black Mask begins a vendetta against her. And he kidnaps her sister and brother-in-law, and tortures and kills the brother-in-law, and then forces the sister to watch this, and when he's done killing, he forces her to eat. Yeah, he becomes a really, really whacked up individual. So at this point, her friend Holly is also on the way to being tortured by him when he's confronted by Catwoman, and they see him fall from a great height, and they all assume that he died. But of course, this being comics, until you see a body, that's not quite proof that they're dead, and even then, who knows? So, at the time that Tim Drake was replaced by Stephanie Brown, who was desperate for approval as Robin from Batman, she starts off this contingency plan by Batman to gain control of the Gotham gangs. So this plan is to unite these gangs under Orpheus, who is secretly an agent of the Batman. And when a key person to creating this consolidation fails to show up, it creates a gang war. And just incidentally, the person who is meant to show up is Matches Malone, who is, of course, a guise of Batman. So, during this gang war, Black Mask shows up to complicate things by killing and posing as Orpheus. And too late, Stephanie Brown figures out that Orpheus is not who they all think he should be. I mean, he manages to fool both Batman and Orpheus's sidekick. I think her name was Onyx. It's too late, and she's basically captured and nearly tortured to death. And she indeed uses this as an excuse to fake her death, but that's a whole nother thing. He then later tries to expose Oracle to the mob, and that forces Barbara Gordon to destroy her clock tower headquarters, and starts somewhat of a rift between her and Batman for a while. It's this time that he returns to his vendetta against Catwoman, but she's no longer willing to let it go so far and hurt the people that she cares for. So she just out and out kills him, and which caused it a bit of a problem when later Holly, who is filling in as Catwoman for a while, is arrested for that murder. There's actually a second Black Mask who first appears in Battle for the Cowl #1. And his plot is to take over Gotham crime syndicates, along with help from the Scarecrow, who he created this new drug called Thrill with. And eventually it's revealed, I think in issue #3, that it is Jeremiah Arkham. And he's beaten and imprisoned in the facility bearing his name. Now, Jeremiah Arkham was always a on-edge character, but was kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like what happened in Battle for the Cowl. However, I do like that it was Dick Grayson that stopped him. I love that kind of period of Dick Grayson as Batman. In the New 52, there's a Black Mask, and Jeremiah Arkham was Black Mask before, but apparently the original Black Mask, Roman Sionis, I forgot to mention his name, Roman Sionis, is still alive somehow. I don't know. I think that happened in the Dark Knight. His story happened in the Dark Knight, which I haven't been reading. Anyway, Black Mask has appeared in several incarnations in cartoons, starting with the Batman series, voiced by James Remar. And in Batman the Brave and the Bold, he was voiced by John DiMaggio, and he does have a small role in Under the Red Hood, voiced by Wade Williams. That's it for now. The September figure for the Club Infinite Earths of the DC Signature Collection whatever you want to term it. And stay tuned for the next month's figures, October, which I believe we're getting both a regular figure and an oversized figure. I believe the oversized figure is Elastigirl from the Doom Patrol, and the regular size figure should be Poison Ivy. So interesting to see how they're done. So until then, I'll see you.